Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar on UK retail dynamics. I'm Beth Bloomfield. I'm one of the analyst team at Retail Navigator, which is a data and insight product that covers over 150 retailers across the UK. If you're interested in anything in today's webinar, I'll be sharing a slide at the end of today's session. So let's kick off. How are UK retailers adapting their businesses for the future into 2024 and beyond? Well, there are some key things affecting the market, including a looming US election, and also the Red Sea shipping crisis. However, inflation is easing, coming down to 2% most recently in May, the lowest level in 3 years. Yet Retail Navigator predicts that consumer spending will continue to be reined in, especially on big ticket items such as furniture and large electrical. However, the general election gives people room for optimism, with business rates and VAT-free shopping likely to be looked at if a new government comes into power. Yet surging retail crime is really affecting retailers today, with retailers having spent an estimated £1 billion on crime last year, yet the Conservative government pledging £55 million over the next few years on facial recognition technology. Stock loss and protecting retail staff remain key concerns for retailers going forward as the year plays out. Yet consumer confidence is rising, having hit an all-time low in September 2022. And you can see here the GfK Consumer Confidence Barometer shows that confidence has been edging up over the last few months, with Retail Navigator predicting that if a new government is to come into power, then consumer confidence is likely to be boosted further. So what do the sectors look like? Using Retail Navigator data, we've divided our sectors across the last few years to show you what performances look like, and it's been really varied to say the least. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, department stores and fashion retailers were the worst hit, with sales plummeting year on year. However, general merchandise categories, which include retailers such as Amazon, really saw the effects of people staying at home. Although this has petered out over the last few years, in 2023, there's some still real dynamics at play, with the health and beauty sector starting to win as consumers are still managing their discretionary spend, but wanting some pick-me-up purchases, and health and beauty is likely to be one of the few sectors over the next year that will grow. Looking at some key areas today in today's webinar, we'll be looking at how customer obsession is driving everything, with retailers really honing in on how customers want to shop, where they want to shop, and how to harness data. In-store experience is becoming more critical as businesses look to both attract customers and retain them, with pop-up shops, services, and key parts of their propositions. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, although this has been a buzzword for the last few years, retailers are still just scratching the surface of how they can harness new technologies in order to improve both efficiency and productivity within their businesses. Yet sustainability is hot on the heels of value, and retailers must double down on their ESG strategies as those looming targets and deadlines come to play. If we're going to hone in on customer obsession first, customer obsession to me, if you think about retailers like Amazon, they used to go so far as having an empty chair in their meeting rooms to represent the customer, and that obsession has not gone away, with customers becoming more demanding, shopping across a variety of ways, time periods, whenever they like, but reining in spend. How do we capture those customers? And there's some really interesting dynamics going on within the market. Areas such as marketplaces are growing. Retailers are working out how to harness their customer data. And there are other examples at play, which I'm going to talk you through now. Our first case study today is with retailer B&Q, who have harnessed the marketplace to grow their customers and web traffic, and also the amount of SKUs that they stock online. So when B&Q launched its marketplace in 2022, it had around 40,000 first-party products on its website. Since then, it has grown its product offer significantly, with over 1.2 million products now on its website. And its strong growth of marketplace sales is playing out within its online business, where marketplace had grown from 22% in January 2023 to over 30% in January 2024. B&Q's aim is simple. It wants to become a one-stop shop for your home. And it's strengthened its foothold not only in its key categories, but is pushing into new areas such as small domestic appliances and children's outdoor play. And B&Q is seeing a massive benefit in traffic from having hosted its marketplace. Not only that, but 50% of its customers who are entering the marketplace are new, with 10% of customers who purchase a third-party product subsequently purchasing a first-party product. And while marketplaces aren't new, this is a great example of how retailers are working to cut down on their stock holding by looking at other avenues. Direct-to-customer, dropship have all been parts of businesses that retailers have looked to gain SKU count on, with Robert Dias being someone who's really harnessed the power of dropship. However, marketplaces aren't going anywhere. Tesco launched its marketplace only this month and is likely to grow this area significantly over the next few years. Superdrug in the health and beauty area has also been doing really well, hosting its own health and beauty marketplace, which is giving customers much more choice when it comes to their skincare needs, including brands like K-beauty brands, which are becoming ever more popular as customers look outside of their normal skin routines. And if you look at Abercrombie & Fitch, if you're anything like a millennial like me, you may remember the scantily clad days of Abercrombie & Fitch store staff standing outside its stores. In fact, the brand even became one of the most hated brands in America in 2016. However, Chief Executive Fran Horowitz has really been pivoting its strategy since she took over the company in 2017. And this deeper understanding of its customers is really fostering the next stage of growth. This customer-first mindset goes as far as its Denim Your Way campaign, which was launched after customer feedback. And denim is an area of the business that's really growing successfully. Under its Always Forward plan, it is looking at how it harnesses the power of customer data. But social channels are also really driving growth, and this is an area that will be of interest to many retailers. Its users are acting as advocates for the brand, seen here through hashtag Abercrombie Haul on TikTok, and social selling isn't going to go anywhere. Only a few weeks ago, Spanish brand Inditex announced the use of live shopping was coming to the UK. And Retail Navigator predicts that live shopping will be something that will play out over the next few years as retailers look at different avenues to explore with social channels driving growth. However, it would be remiss of us not to mention the journey that Marks & Spencer has been through, who has been creating a compelling customer ecosystem over the last few years, with sales in both food and home and clothing surging. M&S's Sparks loyalty program is one of the greatest examples of bringing your customer on board. I use my Sparks card every time I go into M&S, and indeed Sparks has over 4 million active users. The great thing about Sparks is not only can it track your purchases, you can get discounts and you can be invited to competitions, and it's really bringing customers into their ecosystem. M&S's app has over 17 million users as of earlier this year, and is an area that it's still wanting to grow. And you can use its app for a number of purposes, not only just to manage your shop and your online receipts, but if you're a food customer, you can use its scan and shop functionality to be able to shop throughout the food store under a limited spend. This is removing friction from those people who, probably like me, don't really enjoy going to the self-checkout, not to be told there's something unexpected happening in the bagging area. But it doesn't stop there. M&S Chief Executive Stuart Macon has his Straight to Stuart, which is a policy where any employee can contact Stuart Macon directly with ideas for the business. Over 10,000 ideas have been submitted to Stuart Macon, who reads them personally. And this is an area that he says he's hoping to get to 20,000 responses on. Yet Honest Food, Remarkable Value, and other initiatives are helping to really hone the offer. And it has been overhauling many of its stores to demonstrate its power to its customer. Within clothing, its first price, right price strategy is really driving effect, with full price sales growing year on year. But it doesn't stop there on clothing. It's looking at those department store retailers and trying to grab a bit of share. Having launched its brands at M&S platform a number of years ago, now hosting brands such as Sea Salt, Phase 8, Fat Face, to name a few. Also looking at the sports category, it has launched its Sports Edit platform, which is growing its market share in what is to be a lucrative category probably over the next few years. Moving on to in-store experience. And we've said here, in-store experience remains critical. And it's not just retailers who already have stores that are getting in on the action. Other brands are choosing to do pop-ups as a way to demonstrate their brand authenticity in order to gain some foothold in markets that they're currently trying to explore. What is the most important thing about in-store experience isn't just about great merchandising. Retailers are also looking at value add, such as services and other propositions, in order to pull customers in and get them coming back. One of the greatest examples of great in-store delivery is Lush. If you go into any Lush store, there will be an assistant on hand waiting to demo or talk to you about a number of products, be that putting a bath bomb in a sink, spending time with your children, talking them through the bath bombs. It's a great shop to go in and experience. However, Lush doesn't just stop there. It uses blockbuster partnerships to drive its new customer base with an average of 30% new customers each time it takes a collaboration. And collaborations have gone anywhere from Barbie to Super Mario Brothers. More recently, it hosted a pop-up for Bridgerton. Bridgerton is a Netflix show, if any of you haven't watched it. And in its Oxford Street store, it hosted a Regency parlour where you could sit down and have a cup of tea. And I think you could even go so far as having an AI image generated of you looking like a Regency person, which I think is a great way to just create a bit of talk around your brand. And Lush says cultural currency should always be prioritised over financial currency. But it doesn't stop there. Services for Lush include its spa, which is enhancing emotional well-being of its customers. It recently launched a permanent site for the Poetry Pharmacy in its Oxford Street store, which if you haven't visited is well worth a visit. Customers here can shop by emotion, from anything from comfort to brokenheartedness. And this is really encouraging users to step outside of their comfort zone, so to speak, and think about their emotional well-being and how to manage it. What you can also do is pick up a little jar or a large jar of pills, which is called Poetry on Prescription, where for that need that you have, be it happiness, sadness, you can pick up some little pills, and when you open them up, it has a poem in that will help boost your mood. And the beauty area, I think, is one of the greatest examples of a sector doing really well when it comes to in-store experience. However, it's not just health and beauty that are doing well in this market. Partnerships are becoming a really key way that retailers can demonstrate different behaviours and attract new customers. Primark has partnered with bakery chain Greggs since early 2022, not only on limited edition sell-out merchandise, such as the merchandise you can see on the right-hand side here, where its chief executive actually said its Grocs, which are Greggs Crocs, sell out quite often, and her kids all love them. Actually, it's gone so far as hosting Tasty by Greggs cafes now in several of its flagship stores. Not only is this encouraging dwell time, it's meaning that they keep their customers in store longer. There are Instagrammable moments from sitting on a sausage roll swing while you're eating your sausage roll to, as you can see here, enjoying your donut while sitting on a donut chair. And limited edition clothing ranges are proving successful across the board. As I said, partnerships are something that is likely to grow, and we're going to see more brands working with each other. And this is a theme that we'll come on to later when we talk about sustainability. When we think about fine-tuning and modernising, there is no better case study than Boots, who are overhauling their large beauty halls to become bigger and better. Boots have updated around 170 of their beauty halls to date and are looking to update 30 more this year. You could in part say this might be due to the ongoing threat of US retailer Sephora having come back to the UK market, and it is now rapidly opening more stores which are bigger and better as well. However, Boots went so far as to introduce its own beauty-only store in Battersea Power Station. And if you haven't been to the store, I would recommend going and having a look, because there's some really great innovations within the store. It is working with a number of brands to test these services to entice customers in. This example on the right shows how you can scan your skin, and this brand will make recommendations as to which products you use. And indeed, augmented reality and features such as these will become more prominent in stores as customers learn how to interact with products and learn what is best for them. And personalization is one of the key metrics that Retail Navigator thinks will be growing over the next few years. However, Boots Store doesn't just stop there. It is also facilitating masterclasses. It has a fragrance discovery bar. You can even recycle your products, which if you have a Boots Advantage card, you can actually get money off your next purchases using points. And it has skin imaging tools, as I've said. So the beauty area is one of the best examples of what in-store service propositions look like. A lot of retailers are upsizing their stores as well, with Space NK being another great example of a beauty retailer looking at its service proposition. And you could say a lot of this is in response to Sephora, but actually I think the beauty area is one of the best at staying ahead of trends. Moving on to technology, and you'd have to live under a rock if you hadn't heard about artificial intelligence, which I think was actually Collins English Dictionary's word of the year in 2023. But retailers are still just scratching the surface with how they harness this technology, and this technology is changing all the time. Not only are they looking at their entire value chain, they're working out how to enhance their productivity and efficiency. While workers may be worried that artificial intelligence is coming out of their job, what it's likely to do is enhance their job over the next few years, as retailers harness what this means for them. And don't expect retailers to be investing in everything. They may be just investing in certain parts of their business they can improve, be that enhancing chatbots and enabling their customer service operators to be freed up for calls, or other such initiatives. And I'm going to talk you through case studies now. If you look at grocer Waitrose, it's been on a really interesting journey in terms of its food innovation over the last few years. Since 2022, it has partnered with a tech company called Tastewise, who skims social media mentions, restaurant menus, etc., to be able to understand what the current food trends are. And in 2023, it launched its Japan menu range in response to Tastewise tools. This helped it to create recipes and menus with leading chefs, with flavors such as yuzu and ponzu identified as key indicators of success. Its summer food menu in 2024 has continued to use AI, using nostalgic trends from holidays such as calzones to British classics such as sausage rolls. And don't forget low and no alcohol levels, which is really an area that people are investing in as they cut down on their healthier side of eating. And tablescaping, it picked out picnicscaping is a big key trend on Instagram and social media. So Waitrose is really looking at all those offers. And I think food innovation is a really exciting area where retailers are really capitalizing on what they do and how they do it. However, algorithms and web data don't just stop with food innovation. And clothing giant Shein is a really good example of that. Shein uses algorithms to analyze the data scraped from both web searches and social media mentions in order to identify the latest fashion trends. From there, it can predict the most popular colors, fabrics, and styles. And you can see here, I put into Google leopard print dress, which is a big trend at the moment. And actually, Shein came one of the top retailers for the search returns, which means it's identified this trend itself. But what Shein does is it produces very small volumes to start off with to test the trend. And then if they prove successful, it puts much larger volumes into production. And Shein can actually produce garments in as little as a week. However, and recently announced a further artificial intelligence partnership only a few weeks ago, where it's also looking to speed up its lead times when it comes to shipping, with more need to compete with other retailers who can ship within the first day. When it comes to the grocery sector, Sainsbury's is looking to become the UK's leading AI-enabled grocer, and it has announced a 5-year strategic partnership with Microsoft only in the last few months. What Sainsbury's is looking to do is bolster its use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in order to enhance 3 core areas. Customer experience is going to look at search navigation on its website and improving the online journey for its customers. I think a great example of enhanced search is someone like Amazon, where when you go on, it will use artificial intelligence to summarize the reviews of each product. And I'm sure this is something that Sainsbury's will be looking to do over time. Empowering its store employees is going to be one of its key success measures, using real-time data to enhance stock efficiency and improve stock availability on its shelf. And this is something that retailers and grocers alike will be looking to improve over the next few years. It's also going to be used data to power the Sainsbury's business, looking at its cloud foundations. And I think partnerships in the tech sphere are going to become more normal, with John Lewis having announced partnerships with both dunnhumby and Google over the last few months. But sustainability remains a hot topic. eBay research has shown that sustainability comes after value either second or third in consumers' minds. And retailers are trying to hit those looming targets they set maybe for 2030 in terms of their ESG and their carbon emissions. So how do we give consumers a nudge in the right direction so that sustainability always becomes front of mind? A great example of this is Tesco, whose Better Basket initiative they said is actually nudging customers to make small changes. And I think the idea of nudging customers to make small changes is a really great example of how retailers and companies alike can think about sustainability and make it both meaningful and lasting. Its Better Baskets campaign is giving customers that directive, be it from cutting down on meat consumption, wanting to eat more healthily, looking at low-calorie foods, looking at healthier foods that are good for your gut, high-fiber foods. They are trying to remove any confusion about taste whilst aiding customers to be time sensitive. In-store zones help customers to navigate this, and online it has some great tools. For instance, if you have some ingredients at home that you know you need to use up, you can go into Tesco's website and you can enter what those are, and it can give you some recipe suggestions. And food waste will be a key area that grocers are looking to cut down on and mitigate as they go forward in their sustainability strategies. So this is a great example, I think, of how little changes will add up to big changes. However, it doesn't just stop there. Returns are a big issue for fashion retailers, with many fashion retailers starting to charge for these initiatives now, as they try and cut down on their carbon emissions, but also they try and improve their size and fit. And Zalando is a retailer definitely doing that. Not only does it have really stringent CO2 emissions targets across its entire business by 2050, it also has an in-house team dedicated to size and fit. And this is something I do believe which will become more commonplace. Not only is this helping to reduce returns and textile waste, customers are getting essentially a better experience when they go online, with virtual fitting rooms enabling customers to input their size measurements and get more personalized size recommendations. And I think virtual fitting rooms will become more of a norm when customers are shopping online. A great example of this is when you go onto John Lewis's rental platform, which is powered by Xyla. And that technology enables you not only to put your measurements in, but you can actually put a version of yourself onto it, and it will show you what the clothing looks like on you and your body type. And I think areas like this are really set to grow. Last but not least, we're going to talk about retailer Decathlon, whose circular initiatives are really helping it to become more environmentally friendly. If you're going to Glastonbury this year, you may have heard of its No Tents Left Behind initiative, where it will take back its £30 tent, complete with all its accessories, repurpose it and resell it. It will also give users a voucher. And these circular schemes and buyback schemes are really helping the retailer become greener. Decathlon also recently launched a rental service within the last few years, where users who may not be looking to purchase a product for life can rent paddleboards or bicycles for their holidays. Decathlon is also looking at repair, but one of the key facets of what it is doing is looking at product design with circularity in mind. How can products be made to last? And these are key drivers that will happen over 2024 and beyond as retailers double down on their ESG strategies. To summarise today's trends then, customer obsession drives everything. What we're seeing is a growing amount of marketplaces, retailers enhancing their loyalty schemes, and social channels such as live shopping and TikTok being used to attract customers. And retailers are also really investing in their data. When it comes to in-store experiences, these are really being used to showcase brand identity and authenticity. But don't forget about additional services which can be used to attract customers and also encourage dwell time. These interactive spaces are really worth a visit, and I really believe these will encourage customers back to store. When it comes to artificial intelligence, retailers are really still scratching the surface, but partnerships are likely to grow, and efficiency is going to enhance productivity as well. We're going to see more chatbots, we're going to see better product development, and I think there's some really exciting things ahead. But sustainability remains a hot topic, and retailers alike and customers have to double down on what they think sustainability looks like. For retailers, that's about meeting their ESG targets and offering customers a multitude of affordable ways to live more sustainably, or as Tesco put it, nudging them in the right direction. That's all for today's webinar. I hope you really enjoyed today's topic. If you found any of the initiatives or anything I spoke about interesting today, you're more than welcome to get in touch with our Business Development Manager, George McKellow. Thank you and goodbye.